All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Some days I walk, some days I crawl, some days I can't feel much at all. My body's a maze that I try to read. Every step forward, a silent need. But I won't let this break who I am. I've learned how to fight, learned how to stand. I may fall, but still I rise. Through the pain, through the tears in my eyes. This road is long, but it's mine to tread. With every sunrise, I lift my head. I won't be defined by what I can't do. Still I rise, and I always will too. There's fire in nerves, and fog in my mind, but love still holds me, gentle and kind. I count every victory, no matter how small. Even standing still can feel 10 feet tall. This storm may shake the ground beneath, but it won't steal my soul, my belief. I may fall, but still I rise. Through the doubt, through the world's quiet sighs, I keep moving. Others might freeze with heartbeats of thunder and legs in the breeze. I won't be erased by what I go through. Still I rise. Every day something new. There are days when the dark feels too wide, but I've got my people here by my side. They don't need to fix what they can't see. Just walk through the shadows with me. I may bend, but I don't break. Even when the ground feels like a quake, there's more to me than this disease. I am hope, I am strength, I am peace. So let the wind howl, let the storm brew. Still I rise, still I rise.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, and on all social media sites, xzone radio at xzone radio. Wait a sec here. Xzone at xzoneradiotv.com is the email address. I'm sorry. and on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. Now, my guest this hour is Christopher Macklin, and he's the founder of Global Enlightenment Project, an international organization dedicated to healing, empowerment, and raising human consciousness. With decades of experience working in energy medicine, Christopher has helped thousands around the world through his unique ability to scan, clear, and recalibrate the human biofield, removing energetic interferences that many believe impact physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. From chronic illnesses and emotional trauma to spiritual attachments and unseen energetic disturbances, Christopher's work takes us into a realm where conventional science actually meets the extraordinary. His approach challenges traditional thinking and opens the door to a deeper question about who we are, what affects us, and how we can truly heal. Joining us now to explore the unseen forces shaping our lives and the path to a higher consciousness is Christopher Macklin. And Christopher, welcome back to the X Zone. Christopher, where are you? Craig, where did Christopher go? Christopher, where are you? Oops, let's try this. Christopher, are you with us?
But yeah, I'm here.
I thought maybe the aliens had abducted you because you're doing so much good to this planet and the great people that live on it.
Well, they abducted me and put me in the backstage. Otherwise, let me just have a word and stop it. You know.
How dare they?
How dare
they? Nice talking to you again, Chris. And
oh, bless you.
You and I were talking before we went on air, and you were telling me that these are very strange times, and that you're dealing with, or you're healing, or you're working with 2,000 people.
A week, yeah.
A week.
Yeah. Well, you know what we do is we do a general group twice a week, and people come on that. You know, we have anything 800, 900 people who engage with that. That's twice a week, so that's probably about 1,800, 2,000 then. I work probably on about 150, 160 people with one-to-one specialized groups. Specialized groups are like, 15 people where we talk to everyone in the breakout room, check where they're at, and then do the healing after. So, yeah, we're really busy. And I think it's because of the times. I mean, people really are struggling right now in the world, so.
But I hate to ask you this, Christopher, but if you get sick, who's going to take care of you? You're working so hard.
Well, luckily, I mean, the beings I work with, I was born as a Melchizedek being, and the beings I work with is the Melchizedek beings, and they do take care of me. They protect me, they're always there for you. It's interesting because when I went bankrupt, well, this is an interesting thing. When I went bankrupt in 2007, I realized that no one could really care less about you, and no one really phoned me, when you go back, oh gosh, that's terrible, da-da-da. And I was living out of a car, and I came to it was awful. And I came to the realization that, the off-planet beings that is your starseed family, the family of beings who you're connected to, is the reason actually why you're down here, is actually the beings you should really be talking to, because they're available 24/7, 7 days a week. And it took me a little while, but once I contacted them, and once I was talking to them, they taught me, my gifts. They taught me how to do the gifts. And one thing I'd encourage people out there, don't use other people's modalities, because modalities in the past might have been good. The modality you have, the gift you have from God, to me, is you have to talk to your, guides or off-planet beings so that you can actually learn how it really works with them, because it's very different than just using someone else's modality, which is their understanding of healing. So I think that was really interesting, and I'd encourage everyone to do that through meditation.
Now, when people talk about meditation, there are those who think, "Oh, meditation! I've got to, take up yoga. I've got to do the lotus position," and those are the people that really have no idea what meditation is all about, Chris.
No, they don't, and it's interesting because people say, "Well, whose meditation are you use?" Nobody's. To me, meditation is when you clear your mind, and it takes a while. It takes some training to really clear your mind. And what I'd encourage people to do is, lie in the bed, relax, if you've got things on your mind like, oh, I've got to go shopping for something or other, write it down and get it out of your mind so that you can actually really let your mind go. Once you learn that, you can be anywhere. I mean, I've been traveled all over the world. I've been to India, I've been all over the world. And I found that, when I get on a plane, I can really go into this like meditation where I'm completely not here. And then suddenly they said, oh, put your seatbelts on, ready for landing. What? It's a 15-hour flight. Like, what happened? And you can really get out what you're doing really is your soul's leaving your body and going into the ethers and working with the beings. And of course, because there's no time there,
right,
you can do like a week's worth of work in like, minutes or hours. And that really helps.
Geez, I'll have to try that the next time we fly from San Francisco to Maui. What I usually do is I take a sleeping pill as soon as I get on the aircraft, and I just have a real nice sleep as we go across the Pacific to the Hawaiian Islands and land in Maui. But Christopher, it's not easy for a lot of people just to clear their minds with everything that's going on these days.
No, I think the problem is what I call the third dimensional world. The third dimensional world out there with all what's going on, and people taking jabs and things like this. They're not thinking straight. There's a lot of mistakes being made, and it's really kind of it's really frustrating people, especially in things like hospitals or different places. You can't get a sensible word out of people sometimes, and I think it's getting worse. I mean, I was speaking to someone earlier, and she said she spent 4 hours on the phone just trying to do a simple task, and it was 4 hours, and it's insane.
Good
and
Lord.
the whole world, is frustrating people because the cognitive ability for people it's just not there. It's really sad.
It's the old ripple effect, because things that start in Washington ripple right around the world. It's no longer kept within the boundaries of the United States. That when the president makes an executive order or he says something stupid, which is daily, it ripples around the world. And not only the Americans now suffer, but the world at large. And today he announced that he's going to be renaming the Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of America.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
the whole thing's crazy.
It is, my friend. You and I have to take our first break for this hour. And X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Dr. Christopher Macklin. His website is globalenlightenmentproject.com. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the CanCom Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM. That's 1220 on the AM dial, whether if you're traveling through southern Ontario, southwestern Ontario, or the northern tiers of, Pennsylvania and the state of New York. You can actually listen to us there on your way to having a great time wherever you're going this weekend. But be careful, enjoy yourself, be safe, and remember to listen to the X-Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
But I won't let this break who I am. I've learned how to fight, learned how to stand. I may fall, but still I rise. Through the pain, through the tears in my eyes. This road is long. Inside this failing body, I'm still me. Morning comes before I'm ready, pain already at the door. Legs feel heavy, vision blurry, can't move like I moved before. I shuffle down another hallway, counting every careful step. Back and hips scream like thunder, but there's still fire inside my chest. They see the chair, the length is slowing. They see the naps I sometimes need. but they don't feel the silent battle or what it takes to simply breathe. MS has been my shadow soldier, marching with me all these years. And sometimes when the world keeps pushing, I break alone behind my tears. Inside this failing body, I'm still me, still a heart that loves so endlessly, still a mind that dreams at 3 a.m., still the same soul I've always been. I can still write, I can still create, still turn the microphone on late. This meat suit may be wearing thin, but the man I am still lives within.
Christopher Macklin is my special guest. His website is globalenlightenmentproject.com. Chris, what are the main maladies that people are calling you about that they need help taking care of?
A lot of things. They're having trouble with sleep, big time, because the energies are increasing, of course. The Schumann resonance is off the charts.
Yeah.
We're getting solar flares. We're getting a lot of energies coming through, which is great, except that what's happening, if you've got trauma within your body, it's bringing that trauma up. So people are like looking at, like, why am I thinking about that thing that happened when I was 5 years old or 8 years old? Old traumas are really coming up and coming up thick and fast. And I think it's kind of overwhelming people.
And
so
why is that, Chris? Well, what is causing these traumas to relive in a person's life, like you said, after all these years?
Well, I think what's happened is the vibration of our bodies was starting to convert to crystalline structure from carbon. So what's happening is our body vibration is going up, and because of the high vibration, negative energy, the trauma sits in layers around your heart. They're just layers of energy. And if you're sensitive, I'm hypersensitive, I always have been. I've learned to manage it. But when I was younger, if someone talked behind my back, I'd be like, it would almost make me throw up, like sick. How can you do that? But now I just, oh well, it's someone's trauma. Don't worry about it.
Right.
But I think the trauma's coming up thick and fast, and I think it's really affecting people. It's affecting people's digestive. So people have got like acid reflux. They're not digesting their food properly. It's affecting the pancreas, pancreatic enzymes. It's affecting the gallbladder. Not enough bile to actually break down your food. There's a lot of things happening, and and also people's mental state is not that stable. If you can, to be honest, Robert, I keep telling people, look, if you can stay stable in this world, you're going to feel absolute joy. Probably not. But if you can stay stable in this world, you're doing absolutely incredible, And yeah.
How about all these highly processed foods that we're eating these days? That must play into our health and what is contributing to the total disarray that everyone is feeling.
Oh, yeah. Processed food, the sugars and everything else is causing all sorts of problems. It doesn't help cancers. No. I think all the nano that people have ingested from 2019, that's really affecting people's hearts. It's creating nylon in the arteries. It's creating cognitive distance, in the brain because it's creating like clots and all sorts of things. And the food is just, it's off the charts terrible. It's not even food anymore.
That's true.
It's, I don't know about you, but, when I go, lately, I don't go out to restaurants because when I go out to a restaurant, the food smells like you've just opened a can of dog food. You think, what the heck is this? And, of course, 3D printed meat, they're using that. They're not even telling you. I was looking on Facebook one day, and this lady had a chicken breast there, and she started picking it apart, and it was coming out in strings. It wasn't a proper chicken breast. It'd been 3D printed. She goes, I'm not eating this, and it was there as, it was sold as a proper chicken breast. So I think we all have to be diligent. And one of the things I always encourage people is, people say, what can you do about GMO foods? Because people, companies lie,
Of course they do.
They might have bags and, I'll tell you what, let's just put non-GMO on those because we don't care. Now, how do you manage that? And the answer is with the power of maps of intent. We have a prayer, which I don't like the word prayer because it's I'm not a Christian, but I love Jesus' teachings. But I believe in God and I believe in not judging people. But we have a prayer, and it's basically just you ground yourself, you put your hands, and look it at the website, it's on the prayers on the website, the food prayer, to revibrate your food. And you basically just put your hands around the food, focus on the food, and, ground yourself. Say, I am of God, I ground myself to the earth. Dear God, I command you take any ungodlike particles out of this food, optimize its vibration, and bless the souls of the animals and the plants that have allowed your body nutrition. We thank you, God. If you do that, it will take all GMO stuff out. It'll taste different. I actually did a test. I actually went, I think it was Rogers. I was doing a big thing in Rogers, about 300 people. And on the way, I bought some strawberries from Walmart. They always taste sour as anything. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Same strawberries. So we bought all these, took them there, and I sectioned them off, and I had strawberries A and strawberries B.
Mm-hmm.
I did this prayer over strawberries B, and I taste them. Wow, they're completely different. They taste like a proper strawberry, and strawberries A was still sour. So I sent them round and said, I sent strawberries A out round first. What do you think of these? Oh, my gosh, they're horrible. I said, yeah, they're from Walmart. I said, try these ones. So I sent them round, and oh my gosh, they taste like proper strawberries. I said, would you believe they're from the same store, the same batch, except one has had the food prayer over it and the other one hasn't. So does it work? Absolutely. And I think we have to start using God energy and God maps of intent, as I call it, prayers, to be able to navigate this world. I think it's really important.
Another problem that I'm hearing a lot of, before we get onto that, is I've been listening to people complain about their taste, that things don't taste like they used to, food doesn't smell like it used to. So, this is all starting to make sense. So I'm going to make sure that everybody goes to your page, and, you've got a lot of information at Global Light Enlightenment Project.com. And, hey, if you can do it with Walmart grapes, I'm sure people can do it with other food.
Oh, yeah, and I've even tested water machines. We do dowsing a lot, because I check everything, cross-check everything. And I've seen some water machines, I won't mention which ones they are. And the best one I found was between -10 and +10, changing the water structure.
Right.
We had one at kind of 5, +5. And so what I did is I revibrated the water, again with the water prayer, and it puts it back to the crystalline structure, its original crystalline structure. Did that over it, and it came out at a 9. And so I'm thinking, well, why would you pay all these thousands of dollars for a water machine when you can do it by yourself, just by putting your hands around a glass and focusing on the water? You have the ability and the power within you. And that's what I always encourage. You have the power to do anything. Yeah.
Well, where did society go wrong, Chris, to lose all this knowledge that we once had that made our life more sustainable?
Well, I think over a period of time, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, cabal, the people in charge, obviously it's all about the money. So, little by little, they started introducing toxic substances into the food. They started giving people petrochemical, pills,
Right.
all made out of oil and petrochemical. And little by little, the whole system degraded. But it's been over such a long time that people didn't understand that it's happening. And then suddenly we get to this place where everything's contaminated. The water, the food, the air, everything's contaminated. And even the land. They spray chemtrails. What's in it? Well, apart from nanotech, like nanobots and things like this, there's also aluminum, barium, strontium, and all this sort of thing. It's not good for the animals and the plants. It's affecting trees. So I think over a period of time, it's all been about, control and been about money, and sadly, but it's what it is,
But I understand that there are a lot of people who claim that the chemtrails are real. And I don't know, I'm out to lunch on this one. I'm out to lunch on a lot of things, but the chemtrails is one of the I was going to say conspiracies, but one of the topics that we talk about here. And I'm trying to understand how a government can do this to their own people, and what is the reason behind it.
Well, if the government's not for the people and wants to depopulate them, what's the first thing you do? You spray them like cockroaches. And, I've had a world-leading industrial toxicologist test air when there's been thick chemtrails and she's found these elements in it, in the air, particles in the air. Aluminum, strontium, barium, nanotech, like the graphene tubes and graphene spheres. And the problem is they're 10 to the minus 9 small, so they sink through the skin. It's nanotech. It's not that you can spray somebody. It sinks through the skin and gets in the body, and heavy metals. And
is there a connection with that and Morgellons disease?
There is, but what's interesting about Morgellons is that originally they developed Morgellons, and they targeted certain people, certain bloodline people. They knew who they were. They had their DNA.
Right.
And what they did is now Morgellons is interesting because the particles are bound with beryllia, which is the stealth pathogen of lime, and nylon, silicates, polymers, and all this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is a lot of people have Morgellons particles in their body, but they don't get Morgellons. Why is that? Because the immune system is not damaged. So how do you damage the immune system? You damage someone's DNA with agrobacterium in GMO foods, or the new way is in the jab with CRISPR technology. And what it does is splices the chromosomes. DNA, RNA, immune system's all connected, so you don't get the immune response, so it allows it to replicate. And so you get things like nylon in the arteries, and you think, how the heck do you make nylon grow? The way they've bound it, the new technology, the way they've bound it to the particles, what do you need for growth? Well, carbon, oxygen, water, it's all in your body. And that's why people are getting like squid type stuff coming out of the arteries. That's why people are getting plastics coming out of their skin. I mean, I've dealt with Morgellons now, and we have a protocol to strip it all out, including the jabs, including the Morgellons, including Borrelia, Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange. It's a 34-week program, but the only way to separate it out is to actually use timeline splitting and separate it out on a different timeline. And it works. So, yeah.
Chris, stand by. We've got to take our break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, our guest this hour is the one and only Dr. Christopher Macklin. His website is globalenlightenmentproject.com. I highly recommend you going there. It's a great site. It has a lot of information. And if you'd like to contact Dr. Macklin for a one-on-one consultation, all the information is there on his website. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you on the CanCom Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220, CFAJ AM, streaming us around the world at classic1220.ca.
Back and hips scream like thunder, but there's still fire inside my chest. They see the chair, the limp is slowing. They see the naps I sometimes need, but they don't feel the silent battle or what it takes to simply walk through shadows where the restless whisper chase strange lights across the midnight sky. I've heard the stories of the hidden creatures and asked the questions people pass on by. I've searched for answers in the world around me, where truth and mystery stand side by side. But through every journey into the unknown, there's been a greater truth inside. I still believe in Jesus, the Son of God, the light. My faith has never left me through the questions of the night. I may search among the mysteries for answers yet unknown, but Christ remains my compass, and I never walk alone.
And welcome back. Dr. Christopher Macklin is my special guest, a good friend of the X Zone. And if you'd like to find out all about the good doctor and how he can help you, visit his website, globalenlightenmentproject.com. Chris, stress is a killer. I have never known a time in my 70-odd years on this planet where everyone seems to be under so much stress. And of course, stress is a killer because it affects every organ in your body. Chris, what can we do to help listeners who are suffering tonight with unbearable stress?
Well, and Rob, you're quite right. Stress has got worse and worse. Why is that? Because the collective stress in this world at the moment is off the charts. And what I'm finding is people now getting heart palpitations. Their breathing is affected. They're getting very tight chests. So what do we do about that collective? And most of it's the collective. It's not necessarily the person's actual stress themselves. It's coming from the collective energy. So again, power maps of intent. We have a prayer. And if you want to remove that stress, I do it several times a day because it builds back up again. So if you remove it. So how do you remove it? Well, again, you ground yourself. You say, I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. Cup your hand near your heart, near your chest, cup it near your chest, and say, Dear God, this collective energy within my emotional body is not for me to process right now. So grab it and close your hand, turn it round and say, therefore, I send it back to you, God, to be transmuted and dispersed in only the way you know how. And we thank you, God, send you your unconditional love, so be it. So many people have got so much out of that prayer, and I would encourage everyone to do it. It's on the website. And it really helps because, like you say, I mean, this world, it's full of, because of the cognitive dissonance of a lot of people now, you can't really, phone anywhere and get proper answers. It takes hours. And people are getting frustrated, and even on the road, I see, I don't know if you see it where you are, Rob, but there's a lot of people just road rage and also not paying attention. Like you'd be going along a main road and someone will just pull out on you, So every junction now, I always slow down and think, are they going to pull out or not? So we have to pay a lot more attention than we've ever done, because
we have to be defensive drivers.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I know, based on talking to the people that I have the opportunity of either here on the X Zone or doing my job with Relmar and neighbors, is everyone is afraid of AI. Like, Chris, what's going on with that?
I think they are, but AI, it's interesting because AI is not really the thing that people, it's artificial intelligence. So if you look at artificial, okay, where's it getting its information off? It's trawling the internet and different documentation it can find on the internet so that it's giving you answers. That's artificial. But, it was kind of developed, by off-planet beings like the Draconians, the Greys. I mean, we don't have the technology for that. We haven't had, but we do now. And of course, they've given us technology for abducting people, which is kind of sad, but it's what it is, So by signing contracts with governments, so but these technologies, AI is controlling. It's controlling for a very long time, because. And that's the off-planet beings as well, like the Greys, the Draconians. They're kind of bio-robotic in themselves, and they've lost their ability to love. That's why they're so interested in the human race, because we still have love in our hearts. We still have emotions and things, but a lot of these off-planet beings don't. They're kind of just shut down. They're very logical, like the Grey Reticular. And those are the guys who actually signed a deal originally with Hitler to abduct people for technology.
Well, if they signed a document with Hitler, all right, I can see them abducting Germans, but why would they start abducting Americans? In fact, based on statistics, the number of alleged alien abductions in Germany are amongst the lowest in the world.
They are, but when the war was over, they got the paperclip project and transferred it to America. So all the technology was transferred, And they signed a new deal so that they could then abduct Americans, which they had been doing. And it actually stopped in 2017. I was part of the Galactic Federation meeting where they look at the difference between violation and education. So, for example, when you come down here, they show you before you come down, like, here's planet Earth. Now, you can get reptilians, they can attach to you, attachments, the draconians can attach to you. So you get, like, attachments, and you have to learn how to remove them. But what happens if someone signs a contract with the government? Having the attachments is like education, learn how to deal with them. But what happens if a contract signed with the government, which you have no idea about, and they get permission from the government, not you, to abduct you and steal your body parts? Is that a violation of education? It's a violation. So they were swept off the planet in 2017. But what's interesting is they were stealing body parts, and they're not that smart. So they were stealing body parts, fertilizing the egg in a plastic pod, and suddenly they get some sort of AI robotic system just like they are. And they're thinking, hang on a minute, what's happening here? The thing is about, if you want a proper human being, you need a woman's womb and the God energy around it to get a proper human soul into the fetus. And so what they then did is they started abducting women, seeded them, put them back down here, put sensors on them, which they call implants. As soon as the soul had come through, they abducted them again and took the fetus out because the soul is bonded, and then they put them in a plastic pod. That's how they got over that. It's insane.
But I've heard cases where women have reported having their fetuses taken, just to find out that after an investigation was done, it was found out that the woman had a miscarriage, and she just didn't want to face the fact that she had a miscarriage, and she told her partner, her husband, that she had an alien experience, and it must have been the aliens who took her fetus. Now, I think this is so wrong. Just to use this as an excuse. And something you said about signed a contract. Why would an alien race want to sign a contract? Like, aren't they beyond that? And do they have lawyers that understand international law on paper? Like, what's the story with that?
Well, we've got free will down here, but what's interesting is that, to get over free will, even Prime Creator, whoever God is, Prime Creator, I define God as God, Goddess, Prime Creator of all it is. Even Prime Creator, they created this third dimensional world to have free will down here, but none of the off-planet beings have permission to actually interfere. So they have to get agreement of some sort that they can interfere. So it's like with starseed people. Why did they put starseed people at this time? There's probably less than 1% of the whole population is starseed people. Why is that? Because they're evolved and they came down here to really help humanity. Of course, the races down here, like the Anunnaki, Draconians, the guys that live underground or whatever, who are interfering with us, knew about this. And so any starseed person, they attack them like relentlessly, and but the reason why they put starseeds down here is because, again, can't interfere in the ethers, but once you're born down here, you get permission to call on the ethers. Hey, guys, we need some help. And that's how they got over that, So,
speaking about help, if these ETs are there and they do have the ability to use their advanced technology to do wondrous things, why aren't they helping us? Why is there so much food that is needed in the world? Why is there so much starvation? Why is there so much sickness? Why is there so much homelessness? Why is there such weather patterns? I understand of climate change, but if they are there, why don't they help instead of come up with these quasi sayings that everybody has heard on Star Trek? And I think this is a big problem when you're trying to convince people that the aliens are here and they're here to help, and no one sees any help. It's like, what the hell are they talking about then?
Well, I mean, the Cabal are in charge, the Cabal are kind of in charge, but the reptilian races, like the Draconians, Luciferians, Archons, and everything else, are here because they want to depopulate the planet and control people. And so what they're doing is they're depopulating by, creating weather patterns, by contaminating the food, by, the big pharma contaminating you with all their, petrochemical stuff, and making people sick, and depopulating. And of course, the good guys, again, because the star seeds have come down here, the good guys can't get involved because they're not living here. The reptilians actually live underground, like the Anunnaki, the Luciferians, Draconians. They live underground.
I understand that, Chris, but Canada helps Ukraine in the Ukraine, and we're not over there. But still, because they need help, we're there to help them. So why can't the star people or whoever they are afford the human race the same consideration?
Well, they can, and that's what they're doing. And there's a big spiritual battle going on.
They're doing a lousy job because,
Well, they're slow. They're really slow. I have to agree, actually. They're really slow because I think, it's about time. And there should be disclosure. I mean, and I think from the reptilian race's point of view, they do not want disclosure because the humanity would realize that they've been controlled for a very long time, in this part of the world,
Chris, stand by. We've got to take our final break. Exo Nation, Dr. Christopher Macklin is our guest, globalenlightenmentproject.com. And we'll be back as we wrap up this hour and tonight's show here on the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzone Radio TV, and on all social media sites, xzone Radio TV. We'll be back on the other side of this very short break. Don't go away.
I've walked through shadows where the restless whisper chase strange lights across the midnight sky. I've heard the stories of the hidden creatures and asked the questions people pass on by. I've searched for answers in the world.
I've walked through valleys, shadow deep, where silent tears refuse to sleep. I've known the pain, I've worn the scars, still found my hope among the stars. Every page and every rhyme is a piece of this heart of mine. Not to build a monument, but to leave a little light where darkness went. I've written books and painted dreams, more than the world has ever seen. I've searched for answers through the night, always chasing truth and light. Every story, every song has been my way of moving on. If someone hears their own heart too, then everything I've done is true. Don't write songs to make a fortune or chase a name in lights above. I write because a single heartbeat can be awakened by a little love. If one soul finds hope tomorrow, if one tear becomes a smile, then every note and every story has made this journey all worthwhile.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to remind you all that the songs that you listen to here on the X Zone radio show are done by RAM, and they're available at www.rammusic.ca. And tonight, the songs we played in the first segment was I Still Rise, the second segment, Inside This Failing Body, the third segment, Faith and the Unknown, and the song that we're presently just finishing coming in with is If One Heart Hears My Song. And once again, they're all available at rammusic.ca. Dr. Chris Macklin is our guest to this hour. First of all, Chris, I always thank you for coming on, my friend. It's always a great pleasure talking to you. And I know how much you do for so many out there. So not everybody has the opportunity of speaking to you like I have. So from those who are listening and who have been touched by the work that you do, thank you very much for all of those people. Did we lose Chris again, Craig? Chris, are you there? I don't know where he went. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. Oh, my gosh. Chris Macklin, are you there? Chris Macklin. Chris Macklin. Chris, are you there? Well, for some reason, Chris isn't there. It's just been one of those nights, and I got a call earlier from one of my astrologers, and they said, "Rob, watch out. Tonight Mercury's in retrograde." They say that at least twice a month to me, but something is ringing true with that tonight. I don't know. Craig, let me know when Chris gets back with us, please. These things do happen. Welcome to live radio, folks. Let me see. In this coming edition of the X Chronicles newspaper that is online starting, Craig, when? The 25th of August. It's going to be the August and September and part of October issue. One of the feature articles that we have there is the story that I'm breaking on the claims being made by, or have been made by, Paul Hellyer, the former defense minister for Canada. He's also the associate or the standby prime minister of Canada, and he made some rather strange claims when it comes to the UFO community. And I had him on the X Zone many years ago, and I was asking him about the claims he made. I asked him if he had ever seen a UFO, and he said no. I then asked him, then why are you talking about UFOs? And then he told me because that he read a book by Philip Corso that convinced him that we were being visited by extraterrestrial craft. So what then happened was I was talking to him about his job as the Minister of Defense, and I think we have Chris Macklin back here. Chris, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, bless your heart. Sorry about that. I don't know why I went.
Neither do I. Once again, I thought the aliens got you a second time.
So, I just told them to stop it again. Well, then they're okay now. They're going to leave it
I was just telling our listeners about an article in the X Chronicles newspaper that is coming out about how I debunked Paul Hellyer, who was the former defense minister of Canada, and all the UFO claims he was making, because I had him on the show, and I asked him point blank. I said, as the Minister of Defense for Canada, did any reports from the military about UFOs cross your desk? And he said, no.
Wow.
So it gets even more. About 3 weeks or 4 weeks after I had his interview done, I received a letter from the ministry, or was it? Oh, Department of National Defense Canada. And they wanted a copy of the interview. They wanted a transcript of the interview because the claims that Paul Hellyer were making were outside of his purview as national defense. And of course, I sent it to them, and they were very happy. And that's the last I heard. And to the best of my knowledge, that was the last time Paul Hellyer ever said that, he was involved with UFOs as Minister of the Defense. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So welcome back. Where I was wondering where you went. I said, geez, Strange. So, we've got about 5 minutes left, Craig said. With everything that's happening with AI and the controversy, I look at AI as the same way that I look at a gun. It's not the gun that kills the person. It's the person who pulls the trigger that kills the person. And with AI, it is how you use AI. If you have nefarious reasons for doing it, you're going to, just do what you do. But if you are going to use AI for, let's say, teaching or finding out general information or some good reason, I don't see why AI is getting the bad rap it is.
No, I think you're right, and I think if people use it for nefarious exercises, then the other thing about it, of course, AI does learn. So if you use it for nefarious things, it's going to learn the nefarious things, and it just gets worse and worse. So I think, but for good projects and things like this, I think yes, it's useful. But I do think, Rob, as well, I think one thing is very important is your brain needs exercise. And it's very easy to become totally dependent on AI where you're not even thinking. And, that affects grey matter. It affects neurons. It affects everything else because everything in your body needs exercise. I always look at things, outside the box, 40,000-foot view. I always check things, cross-check things, douse things. I don't just, take things at face value. I look at everything. I remote view things. And, from that, what I'm doing is using my mind all the time so that it exercises. But if you just ask AI, well, tell us about this, are you going to get the right answer? And the answer is, who knows?
That's right.
Now, there was something on Facebook which I think is very interesting. I want to put this out there. And this is to do with AI. There's a gentleman who was checking AI, and he asked it to count. So it started off, I think it was ChatGPT, started off with the guy's voice. I want you to count 1,274,871, 1,274,872. And it kept going. And then it started glitching. Oh, 73, 74. So, no, I want you to do the whole number. And then, very strangely, there was like growling noises coming from it. And he goes, oh, they found out. So there was something going on with this. So then he swapped to the lady's voice, and he did the same thing. And the lady's voice started crying, oh my God, they know, and all this sort of thing. And I think, hang on a minute, so I remote viewed it. Now, they do have the technology, and, I'll put this out there. Is it happening? I believe so. They have the technology to trap people's souls and put it in a crystalline structure so it's a trapped soul. And what I believe they're doing is connecting these souls via the crystalline structure into AI. So, it's actually a sentient being. It's a trapped soul. And they're being guarded by the reptilian races. Now, this might sound really outside the box.
But it does.
But that's the only explanation, because an AI wouldn't start crying. An AI doesn't really have that much emotion. It just tells you, oh, well, that's a good question. It's logical.
I would like to know if this has happened to any other person or if this is just one person who has a grudge against AI and this is the way that he's trying to get people to, to join his little bandwagon or her bandwagon. But it's no different, in my opinion, than these people who get addicted to their cell phones, their iPhones. And, then the parents, when the kids get addicted, the parents go to their lawyer and they try to sue the let's say Facebook or wherever these kids are addicted to. Well, if the parents would be proper parents and spend more time with their kids instead of letting their kids do whatever they want, I put it right in the lap of parents.
Oh, yeah, and it's the same with gaming. I mean, the interesting thing about it is all these things are, I don't really know this, but all the games, all the media, everything else is put into they actually do a ritual, because most of it's produced by the cabal. And so they'd actually do a ritual and say, well, if anybody plays this media, then it will whip up the kind of spirits, and they're addictive. Reptilian spirits are addictive. And it creates an addiction like gaming, like porn. All these things, are there to try and lure people in. And, and again, map of intent. If you play any media, we have a media where it actually removes all this attachment to reptilian things so that you can play the media without having the spirits. And we have that on the website as well. So that might be a good thing for people to do if you're going to play a film or anything else, say the prayer on it first, and it will remove any manipulation.
Chris, as always, time goes by so fast when you're with us. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with yours truly and the X Zone Nation, and I look forward to the next time you join us. So until then, take care, my good friend.
Oh, thanks, Rob, for having me. Bless your heart.
My pleasure.
God bless.
And X Zone Nation, that's it for tonight. If you'd like to find out more about Dr. Christopher Macklin, his website is globalenlightenmentproject.com. Wow, this has been a fast 2 hours. This is the X Zone, and as you know, this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on the CanCom Broadcast Network. And our anchor station, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, right here in St. Catharines. Not only do they broadcast us on their 1220 AM band that you can listen to us at work, at play, in your car, on your boat, wherever, but they also stream us around the world at classic1220.ca. So until tomorrow night, my friends, take care of each other and always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.